Yo, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of The Sauce. Bad news to report on the MLB front. We had a rough day, man. 2-5. That makes 3 losing MLB days in a row. Apologies to those who tailed. Let's keep our heads up, though. Friday's a great MLB betting day. 15 games. Let's stay positive. Let's pick our spots, find some value. Let's dive in.
Welcome to The Sauce. The Sauce. Hey, get the sauce.
First up, Marlins at Cubs. This is the afternoon game. This is the only day game. We got Edward Cabrera pitching against Justin Steele. Cubs opened up as minus 152 favorites. Total opens up at 9. Let's take a look at the spreadsheet. According to the model, after 5 innings, we're looking at 4-3 Cubs. Final score, 7-4 Cubs. So we got Justin Steele pitching against the Marlins again. If you remember, in his last start, I faded him. I took Marlins' first 5 team total over, and it cashed. So do I have the balls to fade Justin Steele again against the Marlins? Answer, no. It's not that I've lost faith in the Marlins bats against lefties. They're still hitting lefties. They're 7th in the last 2 weeks. 10th in the last 7 days against lefty. But if you remember, when I faded him last time, that was on the road in Miami. This game's at home, and this dude, Justin Steele, in Wrigley Field, has just been a freak. Ready for this? In his 3 starts at home this year, he's given up 1 run. An 0.52 ERA. Opposing bats are hitting just 167 against Justin Steele in Wrigley Field. So I like Justin Steele to pitch well here at home. Edward Cabrera is on the mound for the Marlins, and all 3 of his road starts are rough. He's got some really ugly looking numbers on the road, but look at those starts. At Atlanta, at Philly, at the Mets. That's 3 really tough places to pitch for a righty starter. The Cubs bats were red hot against right-handed pitching. Keyword there is were. In the last 7 days, Cubs are just 20th against righty, so I actually think it's a decent spot for Cabrera here. So I'm rolling with the first 5 under in this one. I know we got beat on 2 first 5 unders yesterday, but overall in the season, I've been pretty good with these, and I like this one. It's gonna be first 5 under 4.5. You can get it at plus 110 right now. Let's lock it in. Next game. Next up is Pittsburgh, Toronto. I'm skipping this one. After what the Blue Jays did to us the last 2 days, I'm putting the Blue Jays on probation for the foreseeable future. So I'm not betting a Toronto game. Certainly not today. Next, White Sox at Reds. You got Lance Lynn pitching against Hunter Green. Cincinnati opens up as slight favorites, minus 115, and the total opens up at 9. Let's take a look at the spreadsheet. According to the model, we're looking at 2-0 Cincinnati after 5 innings. Final score, 5-1 Cincinnati. So the Chicago White Sox are 0-6 in the 6 games Lance Lynn has started this year. But to be honest, if we're being fair to Lance Lynn, he pitched really well in his last start against Tampa. It's not Lance Lynn that concerns me here. It's the Chicago bullpen. Chicago's bullpen is completely taxed right now. That bullpen has pitched 13 innings in the last 3 days. They used that bullpen heavy in the Twin Series. No days off. Meanwhile, Cincinnati just had a day off yesterday. Also, keep in mind, Chicago has one of the worst bullpens in Major League Baseball to begin with, and they're still missing Liam Hendricks. So, huge bullpen advantage for Cincinnati in this one. Combine that with the fact that Hunter Green looked really, really good in his last 3 starts. Well, in his last 2 starts. The other one, he was looking good and he left with an injury. But 3 starts in a row, Hunter Green looks like he has his shit together. The only thing that worries me here, I'm on the Reds, but the only thing that worries me here is maybe the White Sox bats. If this was 4 days ago, it would be no hesitation. Give me Cincinnati, not even overthinking it. But Chicago's bats definitely came alive a little bit in the Twin Series. So for right now, I'm saying Cincinnati money line. You can get it at minus 105 if you want to bet it right now. I personally want to see what this line does, so I'm probably going to be on the Reds, but I'll give you a definite final answer on the live show at 4 p.m. Next, Yankees at Rays. I'm skipping this one. I'm not even 100% sure who's pitching for Tampa yet. It looks like it's going to be Javi Guerra in one of those bullpen days, but I'm not sure. Next, Red Sox at Phillies. Chris Sale versus Zach Wheeler. Phillies open up as minus 150 favorites. Total is set at 8. Let's take a look at our spreadsheet. According to the model, after 5 innings, we're looking at 5-1 Boston. Final score, 8-2 Boston. So Zach Wheeler at home is pretty much always a solid bet. You have to go all the way back to 2019 to find the last season where Zach Wheeler had an ERA above 238 at home. He's always reliable home. By the way, that's all the way back when he was with the Mets. But I don't care who's pitching. How can you possibly fade these Red Sox bats right now? They are absolutely scorching hot. The Boston Red Sox have scored 47 runs in their last 6 games. 47 runs. Not to mention, they're especially crushing right-handed pitching right now in the last 7 days. First in Major League Baseball. In the last 2 weeks, first in Major League Baseball. Boston is crushing righties. I know backing Chris Sale is a tough sell, especially on the road. But I mean, I can't fade the Boston Bats right now. And even if the Phillies have the lead after 5, I'm sure that Phillies bullpen will give it right back. Phillies bullpen has dropped all the way back down to 26 in the last 7 days, back where it belongs. So I'm riding the red hot Boston Bats. Give me Red Sox money line at plus 145. I'd also lean over in this game, but most likely just betting Boston next. Rockies at Mets. I'm going to skip this one. I'd love to fade the Rockies coming off a 6-game homestand at Coors Field. I'd love to. But I just don't trust Kodai Senga right now. And I also really don't trust the Mets bats right now. So I'm skipping this one next. Twins at Guardians. You got Bailey Ober pitching against Peyton Battenfield. Cleveland opens up as slight favorites, minus 115. And the total opens up at 8.5. Let's take a look at the spreadsheet. According to the model, after 5 innings, we're looking at 5-0 Twins. Final score 6-1 Twins. So this pick comes in from Prop Beaver. These are his notes. And I agree. How can we bet on Cleveland right now? I mean, the Guardians are 5-11 in their last 16 games. Want to know who they've played in that span? The Tigers, the Marlins, the Rockies, Red Sox, and Yankees. 3 of those teams are below 500, and one of the other ones are the Yankees without Judge, who haven't been hitting anything. But it doesn't matter because Cleveland bats have 0 life. Check out these numbers from Prop Beaver here. In the last 14 days, they're 26th in WRC+. This is the Guardians bats I'm talking about. 26 in WRC+, 29th in ISO versus right-handed pitching. This team has 0 pop. I personally don't particularly trust Bailey Ober. I know that his 2 starts were great this year, but they were against KC and Washington, both at home. That being said, he has excellent career numbers against this Cleveland lineup. In his 3 starts against Cleveland, he's got a 2.4 ERA and an 0.86 whip. Very good. And the current lineup against Ober has just a 478 OPS. That's terrible. He's won the first 5 money line and run line in his last 2 starts against Cleveland, and I think it'll be 3 here. The Twins bats don't give me a ton of confidence here, but I trust Prop Beaver's notes, and I'm going to roll with them here. You can take Twins first 5 money line at minus 130, or you can lay the half run if you're feeling a little riskier at plus 110. I'm probably going to lay the half run, but I will let you know for sure at the 4 p.m. live show. Next up is Orioles at Braves. I'm going to skip this one. I would love to fade Max Fried with Baltimore against a lefty, but the Orioles have kind of cooled off a little against lefties. In the last 7 days, they're just 13th, which is still solid, but Baltimore's usually in the top 5, so I'm going to skip it. Braves are sitting at a minus 200 price. Next, Oakland A's at Royals. Kyle Muller pitching against Brad Keller. Royals open up as minus 155 favorites, and his total opens up at 9. Let's take a look at the spreadsheet. According to the model, after 5 innings, we're looking at 6-1 Royals. Final score 9-3 Royals. This is another pick that comes in from Prop Beaver. He likes the Kansas City Royals team total over here. It's at 4.5. I'm down to ride with this one. I think I owe the Royals an apology, honestly. That's 2 or 3 videos in the last couple weeks I've kind of shit on the Royals lineup, and here they are scoring runs left and right. Over the last 2 weeks, the Kansas City Royals are 9th in OPS against left-handed pitching. This team is hitting lefties, and Oakland has a lefty on the mound that's really been struggling, Kyle Muller. His 2 road starts this year, 9 innings, 14 hits, 10 earned runs on his 2 road starts. Absolutely dreadful. So not only should Kansas City's lineup get to him, but add on the fact that Oakland's bullpen is mostly comprised of lefty arms, they should sail over 4.5. So I'm going to roll with the Prop Beaver on this one. Kansas City team total over 4.5. Next up is Tigers at Cardinals. I'm skipping this one. I like Jordan Montgomery at home, but I got to put the Cardinals on probation along with the Blue Jays for the next 48 to 72 hours. Wow. So yeah, I'm skipping this one. Next, Rangers at Angels. I like this game. I think we're going to get Tyler Anderson versus Nathan Eovaldi, but as I'm recording this right now, there's no line yet. So I will have a bet for this game when the line opens. I'll give one out on the live show, 4 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow. Dodgers at Padres. Clayton Kershaw versus Joe Musgrove. This is a good one here. Dodgers open up as minus 130 favorites, and I forgot to write down the total for this one, so I don't know what the total opened at. Let's take a look at the spreadsheet. According to the model, we're looking at 8-3 Dodgers after 5 innings. Final score 9-4 Dodgers. Straight up, I don't see how anyone can fade the Dodgers right now. I mean, they've won 6 in a row. They've scored 36 runs in the last 3 games. 3 games, 36 runs. To be honest, this seems like the biggest trap of all time. I mean, the Dodgers are 23-5 in the last 28 games against the Padres. And Clayton Kershaw has been pitching well. And more importantly, his last road start was really good, because that's usually the criticism. You fade Kershaw on the road. His last road start was in Wrigley Field against a Cubs lineup that at the time was crushing lefties. He shut them down. San Diego has lost 5 games in a row when Joe Musgrove starts against the Dodgers. And they're giving us the Dodgers at minus 115. What? I mean, this seems way too obvious. The only angle I can think of is maybe the Padres have been hitting lefties a lot better than what we're used to seeing, but The thing is, San Diego's offensive numbers are a little skewed right now because of those 2 games in Mexico City. They played against Sean Manaea in Mexico City and hit him to hell. So their numbers against lefties, if you're looking at like the last 2 weeks, they're definitely skewed. Give me Dodgers money line at -115. If I lose this one, I tip my hats to the odds makers. You got me. Nationals at D-backs. Josiah Gray versus Merrill Kelly. Another good game. The West Coast games are really good tonight. Arizona opens up at -175 favorites. Total opens up at 8.5. Let's take a look at the spreadsheet. According to the model, after 5 innings, we're looking at 4-2 Arizona. Final score 6-2 Arizona. So in case you haven't heard, Josiah Gray right now is on an absolute mission. He's allowed just 5 earned runs in his last 28 2/3 innings pitched. And he's not pitching against terrible lineups either. I mean, he shut the Mets out. He blanked the Orioles. He went into Coors Field and shut them down. He went into LA, blanked the Angels. I like the D-backs lineup, especially at home. On the season, they're 7th in OPS at home, so this lineup definitely hits at home. But I don't think I could bet anybody against Josiah Gray right now. That being said, I don't think I can back the Nationals lineup either here. They definitely have showed signs of improvement, but this is still a bottom 10 lineup, and Merrill Kelly is just so due for a good start at home. We know this dude pitches well at home. He was great at home last season. To start this year, his first 3 starts were against the Dodgers, the Padres, I forget who else, but he had 3 rough starts at home. Now against the Nationals, this is the perfect time for him to put down a good performance. I like Merrill Kelly to have a great game right alongside Josiah Gray. So you already know, I'm going back to all reliable. Give me the first 5 under 4.5. You can get it at -105 right now. Let's lock it in. Next game. Oh, I'm sorry, no last game. The last 2 are Astros, Mariners, and Brewers, Giants. I didn't have time to get to those, but we will definitely go through them on the live show. We're going through all 15 games. That's 4 p.m. Eastern time on YouTube. If there's any major updates or changes, I'll let you know on Twitter, so give me a follow there. If you're interested for the final picks, parlay of the day, bet of the day, that kind of stuff, make sure you head over to KyleKirms.com. Let's have ourselves a great Friday night, and I will talk to you on Twitter.